1,000 years of Austria. A country celebrates. Birthday? No, certainly not. The country is older than that. But it's celebrating its name's day. The name appeared for the first time in a document of the Emperor Otto III, a document which refers to this town at Neuhofen on Ibs. In it we find the following words. In the name of the Holy and Indivisible Trinity, Otto, by divine and provident clemency, Emperor and Lord of the Empire, etc., etc. And then we read, certain properties under our jurisdiction in the town which goes by the name of Ostariki in the district named Neuhofen. Dated the 1st of November in the year of our Lord 996 at Bruchsal. And so this place came into the possession of the convent of Freising, and together with it, so the document states, rural possessions, water, watercourses, hunting grounds, beekeeping, meadows, water for fishing, mills. After the insurrection of the Duke of Bavaria against the Emperor, after the quelling of this uprising, a new order was established. In 976, Luitpold, that is, Leopold of the Babenberg line, was given as his feud the region between the river Enns to the west and the locality of Krems to the east, the boundaries extending gradually towards the east. Initially the new Margrave governed from Pöchlaren, but very soon from Melk. The old fortification, which had already appeared in the Nibelungenlied, the famous epic based on Germanic legends, now took on greater importance. It was strategically placed, high above the Danube, and later its importance was underlined by the foundation of a monastery. The first Babenbergs remained faithful to Melk, and their family tomb was also there. That is where Adalbert the Vanquisher is buried, as also many other members of his house. He won his feudal property in the course of long struggles against the Czechs and Magyars, widening out his influence and power to as far as the rivers Thaya, March and Leitha. We mustn't imagine this very young Austria as having the structure that we know today. The boundaries were slowly taking shape. Territorial claims on the part of the powerful families were the cause of strife and bloodshed, and also a capital in the real sense of the word did not yet exist. The lord of the country governed from certain central localities, other places being important on those days that tribunals sat, or because they had monasteries or were bishoprics. In what is Lower Austria today, at the time of the Babenbergs, the places of great importance were not only Melk and Gars, but also Tulln, Krems, Mautern, Mödling, Baden, and also Vienna, thanks to the construction of fortifications for the sovereign and because of their right to have a market. Even today, for the Austrians, the patron of Vienna, of Lower and Higher Austria, the national patron saint is the Margrave Leopold III. Around the year 1113, he had moved his residence from Gars am Kamp and from Tulln to Neuburg on the Danube. There was already a monastery there, which was now enlarged by the Margrave. He left it to the order of St. Augustine and put it directly under the power of the Pope. Its name is Kloster Neuburg. Kloster Neuburg is not the only monastery founded at that time. One of Leopold's sons, Otto, had gone to Paris at the age of 15, and a short time later had gone into the Cistercian monastery of Morimond. Recalled by his father, he returned to his homeland with 12 monks, and on his father's instructions founded the convent of Heiligenkreuz. At the time of the Babenbergs, there also appeared the convents of Klein Mariazell in the Viennese woods, the convent of Zwettl, the convent of Lilienfeld, the convent of Herzogenburg. Under the Emperor Frederick Barbarossa, the Babenbergs obtained new rights. They were raised to the position of dukes. The succession was accepted from 1156, both for the male line and the female. This was unusual and was to ensure the duration of Babenberg dominion. Furthermore, the new Duke, Henry, obtained the right to defend the boundaries of his own land exclusively, and was not expected, like his predecessor, to supply men to protect the emperor when trouble blew up in the empire. All these rights, put down in writing in the document called Privilegium Minus, put Austria in a privileged position in respect to the other parts of the empire. Leopold III had already moved his residence to Vienna. The Duke Henry Jasormigot brought monks to Vienna from Ireland and gave them land before the gates of the city, but very close to his residence. To this day the square is called Am Hof, at the court. Here the monks, called Scots, built their monastery, which with time became the sepulchre of the Duke and his wife. The Babenbergs, whose political orientation was towards the east and who had a statesman's mentality, made even their weddings a political event. For example, the wife of the Margrave Adalbert, mother to the Margrave Ernest, was the daughter of the Venetian Doge Ottone Orseoli. And Henry II Jasormigot married the granddaughter of the Eastern Roman Emperor Manuel, the Byzantine princess Theodora Komnena. Following on this, other members of the Babenberg family married Byzantine princesses. This influence began to make itself felt in the culture of the ducal court, but also in everyday life at the residence. Legend recounts that the Austrian colours, red, white, red, originated from the son of Henry Jasormigot, Leopold V. He had taken part in the Third Crusade, had fought at Aachen, and had come out the winner. It is said that his coat of mail was red with blood, except for the strip covered by his wide belt, which had remained white. This is only a legend. The colours have another origin. They come from Higher Austria, from the crest of the lords of Machland. What is not legend, though, is that near Aachen there was the clash between the King of England, Richard the Lionheart, and the Duke of Austria, even though they were companions in arms. The Austrian had sworn vengeance on the English king, and the king was recognised in a Viennese tavern during his adventurous journey back, despite his disguise as a pilgrim. The Babenberg Duke had him arrested. He was held prisoner in the Dürnstein fortress on the Danube, and only an enormous ransom obtained his liberation, and with this money Leopold V extended the city walls of Vienna, founded Wiener Neustadt and fortified it. The last duke in the Babenberg line was Frederick II, to whom posterity gave the name of Quarrelsome. Frederick entered history as a character who loved quarrelling rather than fighting. And the circumstances of his death are also not very clear. He fell in battle against the Hungarians on the river Leitha in 1246. But it has never been decided if the enemy was from the other side or among his own men. The last of the Babenbergs rests in his tomb at Heiligenkreuz, where other members of his family are also buried. And the famous Minnesänger of Styria, Ulrich von Liechtenstein, wrote this of him: God take care of him. He is now dead. Much hardship arose after him. In Styria and in Austria, many became poor who had previously been wealthy.